down 1,000 times. I ain't going nowhere. Yeah, I'm standing right here. Demons all around, but I ain't got no fear.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. We are full flow fantasy football 2023 season. Got a good one here for you. We are talking about draft, or this is even worse. Oh, the crumble, dust. Draft or dust here today. We got a list of players. Jimmy's in the studio. What's going on, Jim? Welcome to the show.
I'm great, man. Happy to be back, and just looking forward. I'm glad nothing happened while I was gone. That's what I was most concerned with. Is there's going to be some big announcements, and then it was just a complete news blackout for the NFL. So it's fine. It was totally fine.
Jim, where were you? You went away with the family here. You were out in the hills of Utah, were you, or where in the forest?
Yeah. Southern Utah, man. We were in Zion National Park. We went to Bryce Canyon, went out to St. George, Utah, and it's just beautiful, beautiful country. Although I do have to say, very, very hot. The last day we were there, it was triple digits. That's pretty rough. And I'm glad I'm back in the mountains where it's cooler. So
glad you enjoyed it. We all shipped them off to say, hey, man, you need to recharge your batteries because we got full flow fantasy football 2023. You need to go out to the woods, refresh, get your batteries charged because we're going full flow, and that's what we're doing here today. We are talking about players to draft, or are they dust? What should you do with these particular players? Got a huge list. Now, before you guys, get all excited and jump into the comments, let us know who is dust in your opinion, who you should be drafting, which I want you guys to interact. Make sure you guys do secure the 16-round plus tool. Tim was out in the woods. Tim and Jim. Tim was on yesterday. Jim was out in the woods honing in this app years ago because he went and he meditated and everything, got it all. He's got the perfect app for you guys to crush your league, 16-round plus tool. Jim, in 10 seconds or 15 seconds, can you tell us what this app is all about and why they should get it?
Well, yeah, it is a live draft tool to actually help you when you are sitting there on your computer in a live draft. It breaks down the top 250 list based on the size of your league and your draft position, giving you customized player recommendations for each round and important information that you need to know. Things like, is it a contract year for that player? How is the value of this player relative to their draft position? What's their upside look like? What's their durability, their consistency? All these important pieces of information are easy to see, and it's easy to know who the best players are in each round.
Absolutely. So secure the 16-round plus tool. Now, this is completely separate from the solution, totally separate courses. Both operate individually. I get people DMing me all the time, say, Joe, I got the 16-round draft solution. Where's my plus? Guys, totally separate. It's for people that just want more. Both are standalone. Both will do the job for you to help you guys crush your leagues. All right, Jim, let's dive into this, guys. Again, it helps the channel. Smash a thumbs up, guys. Again, smash that thumbs up. Really helps the channel. All right, so we got a list of players here. We're going to queue them up. And we're going to talk about them. Should you draft them? Is that a big question? Are they draftable? Or are they going to crumble? And we've got a big crumbling noise sound effect here that I'm excited to use on players that we don't care about. And it's catastrophic. You guys heard it at the beginning. So let's dive into this. Now, the first player, Jim, I'm going to pull him up here, is Davante Adams. Now, I want to talk about this guy. I put him on the artwork for a reason because I just did a mock draft and he actually felled me. And you guys saw it. It was on the YouTube channel. If you haven't seen the mock draft, it's on the YouTube channel. I was torn, man. Because I got by Jan at 1, came back on the 24th pick, and Adams was sitting there. And I'm like, okay, I need a wide receiver here. I just grabbed him for demonstration purposes. I think he'll be safe, but something's telling me the downgrade at quarterback is not exciting. I wasn't feeling warm. I really felt like leaving that mock draft for everybody. I felt guilty. I'm like, I shouldn't have went with that Adams there, but he was the best wide receiver available. At the end of the second round, Garrett Wilson was gone. Amon St. Brown was gone, who I feel are safer picks, a little more upside with Garrett Wilson. Najee was gone. Breece Hall was gone. Everybody was gone. Adams was sitting there. I'm like, and then the running backs there, Jim, at the end of round 2, there were Dameon Pierce was there, but I knew I could get him coming back in round 3 to 4 or round 4. And I did get him in round 4, but there was nobody there, man. You got J.K. Dobbins there. Wide receivers were a crapshoot. But do you like Davante? After all I just said, what do you think of Davante Adams? Is he going to dust this year, or do you think he's a draft?
For me, he's a dust. Now, it looks like he has been moving down the draft board a bit because he was going late first round, and the fact that he was still sitting on your board at the end of the second is a little bit surprising. But really not so much when you consider what's going on with the quarterback situation there. I mean,
Right.
Jimmy Garoppolo not passing his physical, that's not a good sign. And who else is there? There's no one else there. We already thought it was going to be a downgrade anyway with Garoppolo from what Adams was able to do last year. Adams is 30 years old, kind of, we're saying that he's a post-peak player at this point of his career. I mean, he does offer a very safe floor. I think he's going to get a really decent amount of volume. But when you look at, players like Chris Olave or AJ Brown or Amon-Ra or Garrett Wilson, those are all players I would much rather have than Davante Adams at this point. So
yeah. The thing is, it's like Jimmy Garoppolo. This guy keeps getting downgrade after downgrade after downgrade, and he's not young. Like we talked about this, he's like in his 10th year. So to me, I know what I did in that mock draft. He was there, and I explained it in the mock draft. I don't feel warm and fuzzy, but this is the thing I did. I did explain I don't feel warm and fuzzy about him. So I think I'm on the same page with you. I think he's a dust for me, man. Old. He's still talented. Downgrade at quarterback, he's a dust, man. That's the bottom line. So yeah, let's move on to the next guy here. Rhamondre Stevenson. There's a lot of question marks, and all these guys are a little bit speculative, and we're going to explain why they're speculative. They're in situations where, they may, you got to question whether you want to draft him. That's why we're doing this. So the next guy, Rhamondre Stevenson, is definitely questionable because as of late, at the time of this recording, now you're watching this in August saying, Joe, thanks, Captain Obvious. We already know Dalvin Cook has landed on the Patriots by now. We don't know that at this time. Dalvin Cook is still a free agent. Kareem Hunt's still a free agent. They were flirting with Zeke Elliott at the time of this recording. We're talking, what's today, July 3rd. So Stevenson is right now in a good position. Did well last year. He is ultra talented, but we know Billy Belichick. I call him Billy B. We know that he's going to be a dick. He's just going to be an a-hole when it comes to fantasy. He's come out and said, Jim, he hates fantasy, hates our team. So I don't know, man. He's coming off, where's Stevenson coming off? End of round 1, early round 2. He could really get buzz killed. So to me, as of right now, I would say he's safe. Draft him, but I just got this feeling that things are going to get screwed up for Mr. Stevenson. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the depth chart behind who is behind Rhamondre Stevenson right now, and it is so good for Rhamondre because it's Ty Montgomery and Pierre Strong are the two guys behind him, and that's it. And I just knowing Belichick and I've been playing fantasy football for 20 years. Right. I've never, ever seen a New England running back go earlier than about 6th round just because of the way Bill Belichick runs those backfields. And the fact that Rhamondre is now sitting here in the 2nd round, it's just like red lights flashing. Like, yes, it looks really good right now, but if Dalvin Cook gets signed to this team, where does Rhamondre fall to?
I already hear it. Listen, I already hear it. Check this out. In the news, you guys drafted Stevenson in round 1 and 2. Dalvin Cook has joined the force. Like I already hear it. Like I can hear the news and me screaming on social media. So, I mean, for that reason, I'm probably going to fade him. I got to update 16 rounds to specify. Be careful of Stevenson. Don't trust the situation, really.
Yeah. I mean, if Dalvin Cook signs this team, I think Rhamondre Stevenson falls to the 6th round, and that's where he probably belongs. I mean, that's what I see happening in this situation. And yes, Belichick will screw you. Yeah, I mean, he does it every single year. He always has 2 solid running backs, and one of them always ends up getting injured, and the other one tends to be pretty good. So knowing the history with Cook, I'd say Rhamondre is definitely in the better position, but I don't want to take him in the 2nd round. I just can't pull the trigger there. I gotta dust him in the 2nd round for right now. I can't do it. until we get some clarification.
Uncle Billy has he doesn't have your best interest at heart when it comes to fantasy football. He doesn't care.
Right.
All right, so let's move on here to the next player. Are you going to draft? Oh, so Stevenson, I'm going to dust him if Cook ends up there. I feel I may just dust him now, like I said, because I feel Cook's going to end up there or someone else. I don't trust it. So next guy here, so he's a dust there. So next one here is Jerry Jeudy. Now, great value. Wow, what round is he coming off right now at the current time? Like round 5 to 7, right? Depending on
about draft pick 55. So we're talking 5th round right now. Wide receiver 24. So what do you think? What are you thinking about Jeudy this year?
I think the value's there. I think Russell Wilson's angry. Now, if you guys, we should pull up that video. I posted it on Instagram, actually, where he's doing all these like plyometrics and all this stuff. He's sliding on this, like, it looks like he's doing like a hockey drill. Like, I don't know, man. Russell Wilson seems focused, but when you got a good looking wife like Sierra, he's set in his life. He's been paid.
He's rich.
He's rich. He's famous. He's going to like all the Denver games of every team. I think he was at the championship game there, front row seats with the Denver Nuggets. I mean, this guy's got it all. I mean, is the hunger still there? Is the big question for me. You look at a guy like Jerry Jeudy, and I'm just like to look at him. He's a wide receiver 1. Sutton gets his share. It's almost kind of like a split, but you got to edge goes to Jeudy based on kind of what we saw last year. We had his injuries in the past. That's always a concern. But the thing about it you got to look at is the depth chart. He's on top and he's value. So if he's sitting there, I mean, who else you got in round 5? I mean, you got Drake London comes off a little earlier, right? You got other guys. Right. It depends on who's sitting there. There might be a better wide receiver sitting there at the ADP, and there typically is. If there isn't, I think he's decent value, man, to be honest.
Yeah, let me see here. It's not super exciting. I mean, Drake goes off before him. DeAndre Hopkins right at that time, right that frame. Christian Watson right after. Jackson Smith and Jigba. Chris Godwin. I got to say, I do like the fact that Sean Payton is the head coach. Right. And I don't think Sean Payton would have joined this team if he thought that Russell Wilson was garbage. Why would you do that? Why would you take that on? So that makes me feel positive about this team. I love how Sean Payton runs his offenses. And last year, even on this terrible, terrible year that the Broncos had last year, Jeudy was still the wide receiver 18. And this year, he's coming off as the wide receiver 24. So I see there is easily upside here with the potential that Jerry Jeudy on a contract year in this new offense can really put it on and maybe turn in a wide receiver 1 performance, and that's, I am going to draft. I will draft Jeudy.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go ahead and draft him as well. I think the value is there. I think, the talent is there. Russell Wilson bounce back, new head coach. I mean, no way but up for Russell Wilson last year. And if you guys remember years ago, Russell Wilson was a top 5 quarterback. I mean, he always did well. Now he's situated. He's integrated. It's not his first year with the Broncos. Yeah, man, he looks pretty good. Jeudy, based on value. And that's the thing. You get these wide receiver 1s after round 5. I still think there's wide receivers for days. In most leagues, you house 2 wide receivers. So if you're housing 2 wide receivers, as long as you get 2 viable ones, you can roll the dice on a bunch of these guys from mid to late rounds and still get yourself 2 wide receivers 1s. Even get a sleeper in there. Rashee Rice could take over, right? You stash a bunch of these guys and you could have some big upside here and you fill those 2 slots with ease, right? That's why I like to go running back heavy early, because those guys, there's not a lot of good workhorse running backs after round 3. They just fade off. All right. Next guy. Now, I don't have a sound effect for this guy, which we need one, Jim. We need something.
Well, I told you my suggestion. Yeah. It was not a magical sound. No, not that. More like a boing.
If you guys are in the car, we've queued up Deshaun Watson, all rested up from his massages, right?
Hopefully. Hopefully he's decided that that's not the best place to go for, his jollies. So
so he's all massaged out. He's coming into the season. Where is he coming off now? Like, he's coming off after 5, 6, 7. He's way out there, right?
Yeah, draft position 90 right now. So we're talking 8th round, the 11th quarterback coming off the board. And so how are you feeling about him at that point of the draft?
I think he's value. I think as a backup quarterback with upside on your team with that top 5, top 10 potential, very possible. But you got to consider, like, he might be too massaged out. Is he too relaxed? Is he what we call in mixed martial arts? Does he have cage rust? In this case, field rust. So that's my biggest concern with him. I do have my question marks. I'm not specifically going out there targeting saying I got to have Watson on my team. I'm not overly excited about him, but there is a ceiling there. There is some sort of intrigue that there's a high ceiling. So, yeah, I mean, if he's there, if I've already secured, let's say I went Josh Allen round 3, and it's a 2 quarterback league or something, and he's sitting there, and I'm like, yeah, there's some ceiling here. Why not? Maybe in a super flex, I'm just like, I'm not specifically going to target him. There's other guys I like better. What do you think?
Well, what about, again, would you draft him as your QB1 though? Do you think you could put together QB1 this year?
No, I don't feel comfortable with him as my QB1. I absolutely do not feel. I want to note this. I do not feel comfortable because I just think they're safer quarterbacks. And again, I told you this year, that's why you want to go a little earlier. The latest I would go on a quarterback is a Herbert Lawrence round 5-ish, 6-ish. Like, I don't want to pass that because after that, it becomes question marks. Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, everybody is in a questionable situation. Is it a bounce back year for Wilson? How is Aaron Rodgers going to do on the Jets, right? Every quarterback is pretty much a question. Mac Jones, right? We're going to talk about him later. Maybe if he gets Hopkins, like, again, this question marks. I want quarterbacks that are kind of settled in, right? And I don't know if Watson's settled in yet. So that's a no for me.
Yeah, I think, obviously last year was not a great situation for him. He did not do great. And a big reason for that is that he was not allowed to even join the team or engage in team activities until that week 11 or week 12 when he was finally got off suspension. So he came in ice cold, hadn't played with any of these players, had not played in 2 years. It was, it's a bad situation. I'm not surprised that he struggled. But now he has the entire off season with the coaching staff, learning the playbook, playing with his players. And this team does have some quality offensive units. You got Nick Chubb in the backfield, Amari Cooper, David Njoku, Elijah Moore. There are good receivers on this team. And historically, before, he decided to hold out in 2021, I guess is when he held out. And then he was suspended last year. A guy, perennial top 5. He was a perennial top 5 player. And of all of the, once you get past that elite tier of quarterbacks, which kind of end with Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert, he's the next one that comes off. But it's like a full round or a round and a half later. And I can see myself talking myself into taking him, because I think that he is going to be good this year. I think it's going to be very hard for him to bust out this year with this offense that's around him, with these weapons. And so I would take a draft. I will draft. Give me the ka-ching there. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You got the ka-ching. For me, I just did a sleeper episode where I think he's immense value. I just think he's great value. This is a tough one here. I just think there's better quarterbacks to get. I really do. If you're desperate, like I said, in a super flex league, go for it. But there's better quarterbacks for me, so I'm going to crumble him for me. I really am. I'm going to crumble. There it is. That's a big crumble sound. I had to build that one up. The crumble sound there. All right, Jim.
I understand. Has he lost his mojo? It's like, is it a Tiger Woods kind of scenario? Remember when Tiger Woods came back from all the scandals and all the affairs he had, and he just wasn't himself. And it took him like a few years to get back to where he was before. And that might be the case with Deshaun Watson, but I think I'm willing to take the risk at where he's going in the draft. So, that's where I'm at. So
fair enough. All right, let's move on to the next one here. And I don't want to spend too much time on this one. I really don't.
Okay, can I make the case? Before
make a case? Antonio Gibson is the next guy here, and you're gonna hear a big crumbling sound pretty soon from my head. It's not gonna take too much.
Okay.
I'm gonna chime in after him. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so currently Antonio Gibson is going at draft position 103. Okay, so he's going in the basically the 9th, 10th round, right in that
Right.
range. RB 38 off the board. And yes, Antonio Gibson has had a very problematic career so far. He had all those fumbles a couple seasons ago, but I was happy to see that last year, only one fumble on over 200
Oh,
touches and targets.
oh,
So he
okay.
obviously cleared that up a little bit.
Okay.
He received 58 targets last year, which was a career high for targets.
Okay.
And now he's got Eric Bieniemy as his offensive coordinator, which I do very much like. I'm a big fan of Eric Bieniemy. I'm a Colorado Buffalo, just like
You're starting
him.
to sell me here. I'm actually getting intrigued. Look, my hand is on my chin. I'm stroking
You're
my
just
beard.
like,
My beard
okay.
is like, okay, keep going.
Okay, it's a contract year for the
Okay.
player, so he is playing for his career. This is the last year of his contract. He's got to put something together if he wants to
Okay.
be retained or get a job somewhere else next year. And last year, which no one would consider a really good year, he was the RB 35. So he was a low end flex value, and he's going right now as the RB 38. So I think he's going to do better this year than he did last year. And so I got to say, at this point in the draft, when you're looking at this point, 8th, 9th round, when you're looking at your 4th RB or maybe your 5th RB at this point, I could see taking a chance on Gibson. I think he's a low risk play with upside this year.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at with Gibson right now.
All right. So all I gotta say is years to wow me. I'm not wowed. All right, we're moving on to Breece Hall here. Your campaign did nothing for me. All right, like seriously, on the Breece Hall, which I did a typo here on the screen. We're gonna have to edit that. I added an extra E because I wanted to make. There we go. I updated it. All right, Breece Hall, Breece the Beast, and yeah, I hear your points on Gibson, but yeah, no for me. I'm going top heavy running backs. He's not on my radar, and if I am going a guy later, I'm going a guy with some upside or something like that. So, yeah, you never know, man. I mean, you never know with these guys in contract years, though. That's all I'm going to say. All right, Breece Hall here. I mean, dude, like, he's a beast. I don't know what to tell you. Everybody, again, it's the same compelling campaign, the same type of thing, right? Scenario. They say, well, he's 1 year removed from his injury, and running backs 1 year removed off injuries tend not to do that great. Example, Saquon Barkley, his first year back was gingerly integrated back in, and he kind of was lackluster. Second year tore it up, right? So that's the big question mark. But I still think Breece is young. I think he's dynamic. He's had tons of time to heal. We've seen him run pretty good right now in minicamp. He's looking okay. I don't think he's running full force. But, I mean, they want to win, and that's the thing. You bring in Aaron Rodgers, you got Garrett Wilson, you got all these weapons now. You want to win. You're going to play your best player. They drafted Izzy in round 5. They didn't go out and draft a running back in rounds 1, 2, 3, 4. They went round 5 with a running back just to give themselves some insurance. My concern is that they were flirting with Dalvin Cook. That's a concern. Why would you even entertain that type of talk? I mean, you've got Breece Hall. Even to think to bring in Dalvin Cook is ludicrous. It's crazy. So that was kind of one thing in the seat of my brain that said, oh, maybe, just maybe they know something that we don't. So there's a big problem there. I don't know, man. This one's a tough one. If I do get him, he's coming off in the second round. I'm making sure that I have a Taylor or a Byjan round 1. I keep saying this. I'm going to make sure that Breece is not my true RB1, that he's part of my robust RB strategy if I do get him. What do you think of the beast, Jim?
Yeah, like I said, I love Breece as a player, but I got to see some stuff happen before I'd be willing to draft him. And the big thing is, first of all, I don't ever listen to the coaches because the coaches are lying liars, and especially at this time of year, you can't trust a word they're saying.
Lying
so
liars.
Trust what Breece is doing on the field. If he's running, great. But what I want to see is can he cut? Can he push off of that reconstructed knee? Because that's going to let me know if he can handle it in the NFL this season. Is he taking hits? Is he a full participant? Is he playing in the preseason? Is he getting out there for a series or two during the preseason? Those are the things I want to see before I be comfortable drafting such a high draft pick on a player like that. And so that's where I'm at. So for me, he's a dust until I see something more from him. I like him. I think he will be great. And I think next year yeah, he's going to be fantastic. I've got like no problems, especially if he makes it through this year with no further injuries.
It's a
Next year,
dust.
he's going to be fantastic, but I can't trust him right now for this season at this
A
point.
dust. Hold on a second. I got rocks all over the studio here. There's dust all over here. Jim has laid down the dust trap here on me with Breece Hall. No, I love him, man. I think 100% love him. As long as you draft with some strategy, he's got a high ceiling. I'm going in on the beast. I believe in the beast. Now, that being said, if Dalvin Cook ends up there, I will lose it. I don't want to swear on this episode, but I will lose it. I will be knocking on.
That's going to
door.
tell you. I mean, if they bring in Cook, they're bringing him in because they know Breece isn't going to be ready to start the season. That's
Right,
the reason.
all right, I got a scenario here for you. Let's visualize here, okay? You
Okay.
do a draft here. You're excited, Breece the Beast to the ceiling, and then you hear this. Latest news: Dalvin Cook joins Breece Hall on the Jets. Can you imagine that? That would be a nightmare, dude. Nightmare.
It's going to be terrible, but you know what? Breece will fall on the draft board, and then might be more willing to take him. Because I won't be drafting him as my number 1 or number 2 running back. I'll be able to get him as maybe my 3rd or 4th, and you can stash him, and he'll get stronger as the season goes on. So it's one of those that could be a positive. That could be a positive thing if you're looking at it in the right frame. But for right now, 2nd round, I can't do it. Can't do it. There's too many other really good running backs right around that same.
I like to
point,
roll the dice. I like to take the risk. Breece the Beast. All right, we got 3 more.
I mean, give me Najee, give me Derrick Henry, give me Nick Chubb over Breece right now because those guys are healthy, right? Those guys are playing on week 1, so that's where I'm at. So
Valid point. All right, we got 3 more here for you. Again, if you guys have not done it yet, go get the 16 round plus tool. I'm leaving a banner here so you guys go get it. Secure the 60 round plus draft app tool. All the information there is for you. You're going to know if these players are in contract years. You know if they're going to bounce back. You're going to have everything in front of you. It's like having it on a silver platter. Get the 16 round plus now. All right. Next, we got 3 more players here for you. Let's rip through these guys. Mac Jones. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on this. It's a no for me. Jim's going to make a quick case for him. I don't want to spend too much time. There's safer quarterbacks to get. Similarly, the way you felt with Breece Hall, except without the ceiling on Mac Jones, really, I don't see it. And I'm not excited at all. A little bit of a ceiling, not a super high one. Just safer guys to get at quarterback for me. But Mac Jones, is he going to? So for me, I mean, it's an easy one for me.
Now, Mac Jones for me is not someone I'm super excited about, but the whole rumor mill about Dalvin Cook and DeAndre Hopkins joining the New England Patriots makes me think that he's a good sleeper candidate as your QB2. And the dude is going last pick. He's a last pick player. Right now, his draft position right now is at 249, completely left for dead on the draft board. Your very last pick in the draft. If Cook and Hopkins join the team, he's going to be good. He's going to be pretty good. And so that's what I'm waiting for with that. But that's just based off the rumor right now that apparently New England is in the lead to get both these guys. So anyway, that's where I'm at with that.
I mean, like totally. If you are in a super flex league or something like that, you need that 3rd quarterback, go for it. But other than that, no for me. Let's move on here. We got this one's an interesting one. This one I'm having mixed feelings. There's certain players that I have really good gut feelings about. There's certain players that I don't feel anything for, that I'm just not going to draft. And then there's those players that I look at and I'm like, maybe there's something there. They got Samaje Perine there, Samaj Perine, whatever you want to call him. People are saying that he's going to be the guy. I'm not really sold on Perine or Perine or whatever his name is. I like Javonte Williams at the value, but I just don't feel warm and fuzzy about him right now. This one I'm on. I don't know whether I'm going to draft him or dust him. I got to see where I am in the draft, what are the running backs I have, how the situation's looking at, what the value, how late he falls. I mean, he could be completely slept on. And if he's coming off like a couple rounds after his ADP, where is he sitting right now? He's like round 5, isn't he?
Right now, he is draft pick 81. So he's right at the end of the 7th round right now is what we're talking. And with Javonte, it's just like a more damaged version of Breece. And he had a much more extensive knee injury, more tears, more repairs that needed to be done. He is running. I saw him running during OTAs, but it was a straight line running. That's not, I don't care about that. Can he cut? Can he push off of that knee? How is he doing with that? Javonte, for me, is a guy that I wouldn't draft, but one that I would try to acquire once we get a few weeks into the season. Because if we come into the season and he's not playing, or he's only playing like maybe 10 touches a game for the first 3 or 4 weeks, you could acquire him cheap and then hold him till the end of the season. Because I think by the end of the season is when you're going to really see, after week 8 is when you're really going to see him back to any sort of full strength, and he could offer some value there. So that's my whole thought process on Javonte. Don't draft, acquire him during the season, when early in the season when he's not doing anything.
And he's not ultra explosive. He's really not. He's not a guy that I'm like, wow, this guy's got that Breece Hall ceiling. But again, that's a trade-off. So you get Javonte, right, lacks that possible explosiveness, not as exciting as a player as Breece Hall, but you're getting him many rounds later if you want him. So you're getting like a Wish Walmart version of Breece Hall. You know what I'm saying? That's how I
yeah, that's it. You're getting the Wish version.
That's what it feels like.
That's a good comparison. Yes.
And actually, I think that's everybody. We covered Adams already, did we not?
Yes.
We did Adams at first.
Yeah,
so
we're all done. Yeah, that's it.
Done. That's it. So, I mean, yeah, it's up to you guys. I mean, these are some tough decisions you got to make. And to clarify that, guys, to make it easier for you, get the 16-round plus 2, because you have that information in front of you guys. And so you can make the proper decision if you're torn on this player or that player. Say, okay, that guy's coming off injury. There's going to be a star there, or a symbol there to tell you that this guy's coming off injury. If he's in a contract, you're going to have a little money sign there. You're going to have all that in front of you. 16-round plus 2 at thefantasyfootballaccounts.com under programs, and we've linked it below. Jim, I mean, that's it, man. We are at full flow fantasy. It's here, dude. This is it. Like, that's July.
I'm psyched. Yes, absolutely.
The drafts are beginning. All right, subscribe, guys. Thumbs up. What do you guys think of the guys we mentioned? Are you going to draft them? Are you going to, or are they going to crumble down? People must be so irritated by that sound in their car. They're driving around. They hear, is that the hill? Is that the mountain crumbling beside me? Like, what's going on? All right, hopefully not. Hopefully you guys are safe. Both hands on the wheel. All right, guys, subscribe, thumbs up. We'll talk soon. Thanks, Jim, for coming on. We'll talk soon, everybody.
Hey, thank you, Counselor. Have a good week, everybody.